Hi everyone, my name is Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading, and today I'm starting a vlog where I let my bookish friends choose my reading. The first bookish friend that I'm going to be doing, and who this entire vlog is based off of, is Demi. Demi has recently started a Booktube channel, but I've known Demi for a while through various Discords and things. So Demi has picked 5 books for me to read, and I will be reading those 5 books in this vlog. There's a great range of genres in the books that I'm going to be reading in this vlog, so just come along. We're going to read the books Demi chose for me, and we're going to see what I think of them. And that's what this vlog is. So I'm going to be reading 5 books that Demi chose. The first book is actually a fairly new release. I didn't own a copy of this book, so I tried to check it out from my library, but the hold wait list was like ridiculously long. My library does something called rapid reads where like you can't place them on hold. You have to just like go and get them off the shelves at the library, and you only have a week to read it. They do this with like really popular titles to kind of help people get a hold of them. So I noticed when I went to put it on hold that the library about 15 minutes away from my house had a rapid reads copy that I could just go pick up and have for the week. So yesterday went, got it, and that's what I'm gonna start with this vlog because I only have this book for a week. And that book is We Spread. And the reason I kind of went into this is you can tell it's like I hate that the library does this. It drives me absolutely crazy. But they put, when it's a rapid reads, like this really rapid read sticker on the cover. It is on like a plastic protector, so it's not like actually on the cover, but like, why? Why must we add these big orange stickers to the cover of pretty books? I know a few people who have read this book and all gave it 5 stars, so I have very high hopes. And if I do love it as much as they do, I may end up getting a physical copy, but I'm trying not to buy as many books this year. I'm trying to only buy books that I really need to buy, really need for my shelves. So I figured I'd read it first. If I loved it, then maybe I will grab a physical copy. This follows Penny. Penny is starting to enter a season of old age. Her partner has passed away and she has moved into a senior living facility. At first, Penny really enjoys this. She likes being around people her age and having things to do, but kind of starts to lose time. Time starts to become very sluggish, and Penny is wondering, is she succumbing to the subtle destructive effects of aging, or is she an unknown participant in something more sinister? This is a horror thriller. I don't typically drive with horror, but I think I kind of know why this is listed as horror, and I think it's going to be one that I may still enjoy. I will come back to you, and I know that wasn't much of a synopsis, but that's really all that it says on the book. So when I come back after I've read it, I'll give you maybe a little bit more synopsis, unless I can't without spoiling twists. We'll see what I can tell you when I come back. And we'll start this vlog reading all the books Demi wants me to read. So I am currently on sprints on Rainey's channel for Battle of the Boy Bands, and I just finished We Spread by Ian Reid. This book was really intriguing. The subject matter was hard to read, only because I've had family members who have had dementia and Alzheimer's, so it was a little bit close to home for me, a little bit at the beginning, especially in the first part where we're just seeing our character Penny at home before she goes into the assisted living facility, and we're seeing her kind of struggle, fall, not really take good care of herself at home. That was kind of hard for me to read. But it's meant to be. Like, it's meant to show a really true account of aging for a lot of people. So it's an important topic, and it was really intriguing. Then Penny gets to the nursing home or the assisted living home or whatever it is. I was expecting it to look like an assisted living facility that I'm used to, but this one's a little odd because there's only 4 people in residence. Like, there's only 4, and then 2 staff members. Like, it's an odd home in like an old mansion that's been converted. So it definitely has like kind of an odd atmosphere to it, which leads you to kind of be like, what is happening? And that was how I felt through most of this book. We are completely being told what's happening from Penny's perspective. And because we're kind of grappling with the fact of, does Penny have Alzheimer's or dementia or something of that nature? Or is there something actually really sinister going on at this facility and you don't really know the whole time? I went back and forth on those two things. I lost count. Like, I just went back and forth. I went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The ending, I read the ending, and Kelsey and Rainey have both read this book, and I private messaged them both, all in capital letters, with what I thought of the ending. Like, it was like, did this just really happen in all capital letters? Because I was like, what? What? And I can't tell you what that was because it's spoilers, but like it had me shooketh. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. And the reason being is the writing style was not completely for me. But I do recognize that the writing style had to be the way it was for this book to work. It needed to be choppy. It needed to kind of have you confused in the timeline because Penny is confused in the timeline and this is necessary. I totally understand that. It's a fast read. I read it in like 4 hours. Fast read. Fast read. And we're starting this Demi Picks My Books Off with a 4-star read, and I'm happy about it. The next book I'm going to be reading is Confessions of a Curious Bookseller by Elizabeth Green. I don't think Demi has actually read this, and I'll tell you why Demi put this in here, because Demi is my dear, dear friend and knew I needed to read my lowest rated book on Goodreads for Battle of the Boy Bands, and also knew I was going to try to be doing this video this month. And to help me put this on this list, I did not ask her to. She messaged me and she was like, I put this on the list because I know you have to read your lowest rated on Goodreads. And I was like, Demi, you're my favorite. Like, thank you. Thank you for thinking of me and not adding an extra book. Like, I appreciate you thinking of me. So Demi has put this on my TBR. And I'm actually really excited to read this. I know it is my lowest rated on Goodreads. I know this. But the synopsis sounds really good. So I'm curious to see why it's so low rated on Goodreads. If it's just like that no one's discovered this book yet or it's not good. I don't know. It sounds good. I'll have to let you know once I've read it. This follows a bookstore owner named Fawn. Fawn has run a used bookstore in West Philadelphia for a long, long time. But now a competitor is moving in down the street named Mark. He's opened a new bookstore. It's fancy, it's more up to date, and they have to compete to see who can stay open on this street. It's told as an Episcopal novel through emails, journal entries, things of that nature. It also mentions an online dating aspect. I can't really figure out how that fits in from the synopsis, but it mentions an online dating and a pen pal. So to me, this sounds very similar to You've Got Mail. I love You've Got Mail. It's one of my favorite movies of like all time. So if this is You've Got Mail like, I expect to like it. However, I'm trying to not get too excited because it is my lowest rated on Goodreads, so I don't want to go in with too high expectations. But I kind of have high expectations. So I'm going to go back on Rainy Sprints and probably start this book either tonight or tomorrow. So I have finished Confessions of a Curious Bookseller, and I'm so thankful for Demi for putting this on this list because it did fill a boy bands prompt, but I did not really like this book. And I can kind of see why it's my lowest rated on Goodreads, because the synopsis leads you to believe one thing and the book is very different from that synopsis. So in the synopsis, they make it sound very much like You've Got Mail. It is told through emails, mostly some text messages, some blog updates, but mostly through emails. It follows Fawn, who has owned a bookstore on this street for a very long time. Now Mark has come in and opened a brand new bookstore. It's got a coffee shop in it. It's beautiful, and they are going to be competing for business on this street. What you get is not that. It's not that. This is not the cute, been there all the time bookstore that has been, servicing the community for a long time, and now this big bookseller has come in to compete. That's not what this is. This bookstore is falling down. There's mold, there's mildew, there's leaks, there's no books. There's 800 copies of the same book in no other book. Fawn is drunk a lot of the time and is complaining to everyone. She's stealing from people. She's just an awful person. She is catfishing someone on the internet. She's trying to get free things from other business owners, and when they won't give them to her, she pretends to be other people on the internet to bash their businesses. Like, you just can't get behind this character. And I think it's supposed to be like a satire and funny, but because the synopsis doesn't lead you in that direction, that's not how you go into it. And I just didn't find it funny. I found it just kind of like, what am I reading? Like, this woman she's not what you want for a main character. I could not get behind this main character. Most of the things that she does horrifically wrong are never addressed in the book. Like, at the end, it's just like Fawn goes on with her life, and kind of the same way she was going on with it in the book. I guess she does turn around a little bit, but not enough. So I'm gonna give this 2 stars, and we're gonna just move on to the next book that Demi has picked for me. Again, I don't think Demi has read this book. Demi picked it for me because it filled a boyfriend prompt, and I do appreciate that because I needed to read this anyway this month, but I'm glad to be moving on to something else. The next book Demi picked for me is a pre-order that we were both very excited about, and I appreciate, again, Demi putting a pre-order on my list, and that is Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. I am loving this year. I am getting to my pre-orders almost within a week of them coming to my house. That has never happened before, so I'm very proud of myself that I have been doing that. Will I keep it up all year? Probably not, but for right now, I'm doing a good job. This follows Haley and Julian. Haley and Julian almost kissed at Julian's family's vineyard when they were 14. They didn't. They went their separate ways. Now Julian is back in town helping with his family's vineyard, and Haley has been hired to revamp the gardens on the estate. At first, their personalities are very much opposite and clashing, but I have a sinking suspicion that that leads to a romance because it is a contemporary romance book. I expect smut. This is a Tessa Bailey book. That is what I'm expecting. I, however, am not reading this until Rom-Comathon, which is next week. So you will not see me in this vlog for a week, but I will be reading this on the first day of Rom-Comathon, and I will come and let you know my thoughts at that point, which is about a week from now. So the next time you'll see me, I will have read this book and a week will have passed, and then we will continue on with this Demi Chooses My Reads vlog. Hi everyone, I have finished Secretly Yours. This was actually a very cute rom-com book. It was so cute. It follows Haley. Haley is a gardener. Haley is a kind of a tornado of a person, but like in the cutest possible way. Haley does not have a plan. She might tell her client she'll be there at noon and show up at 4. Haley flies by the seat of her pants, and that's just how Haley is. Julian is someone with extreme anxiety, has panic attacks, and therefore sticks to a very strict time schedule. As a person with anxiety, I related to this very much. I don't have to stick to quite the time schedule that Julian does, but I have managed my anxiety that way before and completely related to this and kind of liked seeing it in there. They actually even talk about doing writing sprints in this book, and I was like, sprints, that's my life. And I enjoyed that part of the book a lot. But that makes them very, very different. 14 years before, they almost kiss. Julian leaves. Now he's back at the Voss family wineries writing a book. They meet again. Haley very much remembers Julian because she has had a crush on him for years. He does not remember her. Not at all. He is fascinated by this woman, even though he knows that she is going to disrupt all of his carefully timed plans. They decide to become friends and eventually a little bit more. So it does take a little while for anything to get going. I always kind of go into Tessa Bailey books expecting smut, and this was a little bit more slow burn than the Tessa Baileys that I have read before. However, because it's Friends to Lovers, it kind of makes sense. But once the smut started, it was definitely very smutty. I did really enjoy this. There is a second book coming out in this series, I think in June, and it follows Julian's sister Natalie, who is in this book. Not a lot, but enough that I know that I'm excited to read her book and see what will happen to Natalie now that she is also back at the Voss Family Vineyards. And I really did enjoy this. It was cute. It delivered on the Friends to Lovers aspect, and I had a good time with it. I'm gonna give it 4 stars, and like I said, I'm excited to read the next book in the series. That being said, it is rom-comathon, so I will not be reading any more for this particular video until after rom-comathon stops, which is in 6 days. So I am going to just put a little pause on this video, go finish rom-comathon. As you know, this was actually my first book for rom-comathon, but it also was for this video, so we're kind of doing 2 at once. But I will come back and let you know what I will be reading for the rest of Demi Chooses My TBR when rom-comathon is over. We still have 2 more books to go. So in the next clip, it will be like literally 5 seconds from now, but for you. But for me, it will be a week. So I'll see you in 5 seconds / a week. Hi everyone, long time no see for this vlog. I have finished rom-comathon. Rom-comathon is over, and it's actually been over for 3 days. I was tired when rom-comathon was over, and I have read a little bit over the last few days, but not very much, and I just wanted to kind of take a couple days to like quiet the mind. But I am ready to read again and get back to this Demi Chooses My TBR vlog. I'm actually making coffee right now, so if you're wondering what I'm doing, that is what I'm doing because your girl needs some coffee. But today I am starting, and hopefully I should be able to read this whole book, it's not very big, Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. This is my second Grady Hendrix. The first one I read was My Best Friend's Exorcism. I gave it 3 stars. I'm hoping to really enjoy this. I've had my eye on this book for a long time, so when Demi put it on this TBR, I was actually quite excited. Even though I'm not sure horror is my favorite genre, still trying to decide if I like horror. But after 7 rom-coms in a row, I feel like this is going to be very refreshing. I really did like Grady Hendrix's writing style when I read My Best Friend's Exorcism, so I kind of know that I'm going to enjoy that, at least of this book, which is half the battle. This is set in a fictional IKEA. It's not called IKEA, it's called Orsk Furniture Superstore in Cleveland. So this is set in Orsk, which is a fictional IKEA. Obviously, the book looks like an IKEA catalog. I just love that. Honestly, I'm in love with that already. Things keep happening at this furniture store, and they don't know why. They come in, windows are broken, things are moved. We don't know what's going on. So 3 very brave employees decide to stay overnight, work the back shift, and see what is going on at this store. It is a haunted house story or a haunted furniture store story. And I'm actually very excited to be picking this up today. I do have the audiobook. It's on Audible Plus, so that was fantastic. And I'm gonna try and get this read today. It's not very long. I think the audiobook is only like 5 hours. So it's definitely not gonna take me very long. That's my plans for the day. I will come in and update you probably when I'm finished, because like I said, it's a pretty quick read, and let you know if this is exactly what I needed after 7 rom-coms. I actually kind of think it might be. It's literally the absolute opposite of what I could do after 7 rom-coms. Horror. So let's finish making my coffee, and I'm gonna go read this. Hi everyone, I have finished Horror Store. What a ride. I finished this not yesterday, but the day before. It's been a minute since I've talked to you. It was my birthday and I've been going out and very busy, so I haven't updated the vlog. But I have finished Grady Hendrix Horror Store. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I actually really liked this book. This is probably my favorite horror I've ever read. Not that that list is very long. I don't read a lot of horror, but I really did enjoy this. I love Grady Hendrix's writing style. This is the second book by Grady Hendrix I've read, And I really enjoy the way Grady Hendrix writes. It's very digestible writing. There's a bit of humor. The descriptions are really easy to follow, and I just really enjoy it. This is set in a Orsk furniture store, which is basically like a fictional IKEA, although they do talk about IKEA in the book, so it's kind of like a knockoff fictional IKEA. It starts off really normal. We have our 3 characters who stay overnight to find out what's going on in this store. At the start of each chapter is a description of a piece of furniture that is in the store, and they start off looking very normal, with very normal furniture descriptions. But as you go through the book, and as things start to happen in the store that are absolutely horrifying and unexplained occurrences, and you're like, what is going on? The pictures get more and more disturbing. So they start off like normal pieces of furniture, but slowly become things that I can only think are in the Tower of London and were used to torture people. Like, that's what the pieces of furniture start looking like. I was in the comments on Sprints for Bree's Patreon while I was finishing this, and all I wrote was, what in the hell is happening in this store? Like, I was like, what is going on? And why are these people not running for the hills? Like, leave the store. Leave the store, people. Leave the store. Anyway, I had a really great time with this book, and I'm definitely excited to read another Grady Hendrix. I have another one on this TBR, not for this video, but on my February TBR, because it is a group book for Battle of the Boy Bands. So I am very excited to pick that up because this went so well. That being said, I have one more book that Demi has chosen for my TBR, and it is one that I'm very excited about, and it's why I left it for last. And that is In My Dream, I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. This is a thriller, dark academia, both things that I really love, and so many people that I know who have read this book have given it 5 stars. So I have already started this book. I'm actually 132 pages in already, and I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. It is, the dark academia vibes in this are great. It really reminds me of If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio, which is one of my favorite books of all time, as well as my favorite dark academia book I've ever read. So the fact that this reminds me of that is excellent. This follows Jessica, who is going back to her 10-year college reunion. Jessica is now a partner at a law firm, and she wants to show everyone that she has made it. She is doing great. When Jessica was in college, she was part of the East House 7. It was a very close group of friends who all lived in East House on campus and were well known around campus for various reasons. One of the East House 7 is murdered, I think during their senior year of college, Heather. And one of the other members was suspected of murdering Heather, but was never convicted. So now that they are back, someone, and we don't know who that someone is using the reunion to basically investigate and discover who murdered Heather. Who is looking into everything and who actually murdered Heather, we don't know, and we're hopefully, I'm assuming, going to find out. Like I said, I'm really enjoying this so far, and I'm excited to potentially finish this today. I think I have high hopes for finishing this today. If I do, I will let you know my full thoughts on the book once I've read a little bit more. But as of right now, I'm really enjoying it. Well, we are finishing this Demi Chooses My TBR off on a very high note with a 5-star read. I have finished In My Dreams, I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead, and oh my goodness, I loved this book so much. I loved this book. It was so good. The writing style was good. The story kept me like intrigued to find out what was going on the entire time. I could not put this down. I devoured this book. I read it so fast. This really reminds me of If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. If We Were Villains is my favorite dark academia book of all time. And this was extremely similar, so I think if you liked If We Were Villains, you would like this, and vice versa. I still think If We Were Villains is my favorite, but this is a close second. The ending was everything. The last 50 pages had so much happen in such a short period of time that I was just flipping the pages. I was flipping, just watching what was happening and trying to figure out what was happening, but also just not wanting to figure it out because I just wanted to experience it as Ashley Winstead wanted me to experience it. And I just loved it. The writing style of this book was excellent, which makes me even more excited to pick up some more of Ashley Winstead's books. I have a couple others on my shelves, and I'm going to need to pick those up soon, because if this is what an Ashley Winstead book is, I need to be reading more from this author, because this was top tier. Absolutely top tier. And I'm so glad that we are finishing this vlog off with a 5-star read. But that is the end of Demi Picks My TBR. I will be having some other of my Booktube friends picking my TBR as the months go on, so you will see this happen again. But for right now, this is the end. Thank you so much, Demi, for picking these books for me to read. Everyone, if you haven't checked out Demi's channel, it is linked down below. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the end of this vlog. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.